Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of the show that makes you feel like you're stacking up the quarters at the NBA Jam arcade game. You know the feeling. It's a special one. Welcome, everyone, of course, to another episode of Dad's Turn to Talk. Thank you for joining us. My name is Derek. I'll be the moderator for this evening. You see, we have a full house here tonight, and we couldn't be more pleased. We've got hosts and guests. And luckily, you've seen our guests before, so hopefully they are not too much of a surprise, and you've gotten a chance to meet them previously. But we'll start off with the regulars first. Let's start off with the man who's one step closer to a slam dunk contest. Hello, Josh.
Oh, that was so sweet of you, Derek. I am on a Fisher-Price basketball net. That's
exactly.
For sure. That's
I got that same net, Josh.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said I got that same net.
I know. Everything is going okay. How are you, Dereko?
Living the dream, moving the movement. Before we got on here, we were talking about how hot it's been out here, but I really can't complain because I have a feeling that both Texas and LA, where everybody else is from, probably are hotter, and we're supposed to cool down tomorrow. So I'm gonna save my griping for later. Gee, nice. We'll get through it. Don't worry. All right. With that, we will introduce another man who can't help but put us through the suffering that he has to go through now on both television and streaming, but all the crap shows that are out there. So can't say enough, but thank you to Bob. Welcome, Bob.
So I'm glad that you brought that up, Derek, because I was talking to Josh about that same thing. He was telling me earlier today, I wouldn't watch it if it wasn't for you. You're the only reason I'm watching it. I said, no, Josh, you're watching it because you have a YouTube show now. That's why you're watching it. You're not watching it because of me anymore. You're watching it because we need to talk about it.
It's true. I mean, we are in this together now.
We are. Every bad show.
Every bad show. Well, I mean, we'll get into that topic a little bit later, but I actually put out a review of that yesterday, and already it's over 600 views, and I picked up 9 subscribers from it. I'm up to 378 subscribers. So
why are you pushing your show on our show? Why are you pushing me?
Right, well, I did start to actually
cross promotion.
I did start cross promoting.
Why don't you push your show, Josh? What are you doing lately?
Exactly. Yeah. No, but I was actually looking, and I was actually looking. We actually did pick up a couple subscribers on this channel from me promoting over there, because we are talking about doing a show, and we'll talk about that in the upcoming weeks. But I started promoting that on one of my videos, and we picked up a couple of subscribers from that.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Very good. All right. Well, those are the co-hosts. Let's introduce the guests. You've met them before, but here they are again. Ladies first, and Lord knows we needed a little bit of estrogen on this show just to try to keep us somewhat decent. Gee, hello. Welcome, Gazelle.
Hello. Nice to see you all again.
Hey, Gazelle.
Here we are in this scenario that none of us wanted.
Hey, speak for yourself.
More on that in a moment. All right. And last but certainly not least, the man who is here to help you channel your inner fat burger, nay.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Your inner blackjack pizza. Shout out to Tucson, University of Arizona, the one and only Jeremy and Gazelle.
Hello, Thank you, Mr. Derek. Fat Burger, #1 burger joint of all time in LA. You can fight me on it at Jeremy Apodi. Listen, if we're talking about bad shows, has anybody seen Clipped yet?
Not yet.
No, I haven't seen it, but I wanted to check it out.
Yes, I saw both episodes last night. Oh my God, I saw both episodes last night. I hate Donald Sterling so much.
Can we talk about the casting of Blake Griffin and Chris Paul? It looks like they literally took like a character from Dawson's Creek and transplanted him into Blake Griffin. It is the most embarrassing.
He looks like he's from the Middle East, so he doesn't. And I could say this as a Middle Eastern person. He looks like one of ours. Like I don't understand. I didn't understand that.
It is absurd. And let me tell you something.
Chris Paul is basically a dude with a mustache. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like
terrible. And let me tell you something. As a Laker fan, obviously,
and a Clipper
hater, Clippers being our redheaded stepchild, they can't even get castings right compared to Winning Time.
The winning time was so good. Winning Time's casting was so good.
He's even embarrassing with that. Yeah. I mean, give me a break. Yeah. All right.
The only one that they have so far that's kind of there is Doc Rivers. Lawrence Fishburne. I like the guy. So. He's got the voice down, but everybody else is terrible. Did you see who they had? Did you see who they even had as a body double for Steph? He's like 4 times the size. It was just like he looked like, oh my god, he's like 4 times
the show.
Just another example of the embarrassment that is the Clippers organization.
let me ask you, Jeremy, are you saying that it's that bad because it's the Clippers, or is it just really that bad?
Listen, Bobby.
Because if it's really that bad, I might make a review on that.
I have a rule in my house. All right, Bobby. I am from LA. I am I bleed purple and gold. If the Clippers ever to win a world championship, I move out of this city. That is the bet. Let me tell you something. I went into this with an open mind because obviously I hate the Clippers, but the storyline is fine. Okay, I mean obviously it's a fascinating, very compelling storyline. But the casting of some of the players is
the casting players
third.
Both of my dad and I were like, "That's Blake Griffin." Like we,
like I'm kind of curious. Can we look this up, Bob? Can we see what he looks like?
Okay. Let me see.
Hold on, we got to see this now. Derek, have you seen that?
I saw like a very brief preview.
I mean, I get it. Blake Griffin is pretty specific, but come on.
Yeah, you got to try harder.
He looks like he looks like the bassist from No Doubt, who is Indian American, and like from 1998. Like he looks exactly like, it just doesn't look like Blake Griffin at all. Like
that's just a bit off.
And the Chris Paul,
I think I got it. Hold on.
Let's see.
All right, let me share my screen here.
You should find Steph Curry too, because that one's even just more ridiculous.
Oh God,
they found like a 220-pound dude to play a 150-pound.
Okay, so here's Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers, I feel like is not bad.
That's not bad.
And he did get some of the voice things down.
Shelley Sterling. So you got Jackie Weaver, Shelley Sterling.
Okay.
Ed O'Neill is Donald Sterling. I kind of like that.
That one's not bad.
That one's all right.
He does a good job.
Not bad. That was good.
Right.
That one was good.
Okay.
That one's good. All these are fine. It's the players.
All right, let me see if I can get to the player. Okay, here we go.
Oh, there it is.
Oh my God.
That's exactly what he looks like. Oh my
God.
Oh my God.
I am shocked. Really? That's who they cast?
And Chris Paul's bad too.
Let's see.
Yeah, you got to see Chris Paul. Chris Paul's terrible.
All right, let me see. Okay, here we go.
There it is.
Oh my God, that is horrible.
And Steph Curry, you're right. He looks like Dak Prescott.
Why does Chris Paul look like Derek? Why does the actor look like Derek Fisher?
Oh yeah, and I forgot DeAndre Jordan is terrible too. Yeah, I don't understand.
Derek Fisher.
Yeah.
Okay, it's DeAndre Jordan.
Okay, DeAndre Jordan is
Matt Barnes. They actually did all right.
That's not
JJ Redick. That's
Matt
not
Barnes.
That one's too. I mean, come
Matt Barnes. They actually got Matt Barnes. Who's that?
Yeah, they got somebody there.
All right.
Oh, Alvin Gentry.
Ty Lue. Okay, that's all right.
I haven't got.
we haven't gotten to that one yet.
We haven't gotten that one yet.
I'm trying to see if they have a. No, I didn't see.
No, they don't have Steph.
It wasn't a major role.
It wasn't a major role. It's just like a flash.
Let me see if I can find Steph though.
But just imagine Steph, add 60 pounds.
Picture a mini Dak Prescott.
Okay, I think I found it.
All right.
Skinny Steph, add 60 pounds and maybe 6 inches. It just doesn't look anything like him really at all. Especially the thickness.
Okay, yeah, here we go.
Let's see.
All right, let me share my screen one more time.
Especially 2016 Steph was essentially a thin toothpick, like a 16-year-old. And then you have this guy who's
dude, no. That
so this is
can you zoom in a little? Yeah,
that is atrocious.
Yeah, he's just
that's his cousin. That's not Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Here, let me pull it up. Let me pull up the clip or the the picture from its actual link. Let's see if I can get a
Yeah,
better
he's
picture.
he's like thick. He's like Draymond thick. Only it's supposed to be Steph. So
Dude,
I just-
okay, there we go.
That was even thicker than Draymond. That was
Yeah.
some O'Donnell. That was like a Donald Foyle bordering thickness.
yeah.
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 Let's see.
Mhm.
There he is.
Mm-mm.
Wow,
Mm-mm.
that is horrible.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, he didn't look anything like Steph.
I guess that's the difference between HBO Max and FX. I mean, look at Winning Time and look at this.
Get that
Hey,
team
in all
Vegas
fairness,
already. Get it out of
FX actually put out a pretty good show earlier this year. I thought Shogun was pretty dang good.
Mhm.
I started watching that actually, and boy, it's good. It's very well.
Yeah, that's a good show. So
Hey,
FX does a few things that are pretty good.
Can I just say we forgot something last week? I just remembered as we were going through that. Rest in peace, Bill Walton.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Very
Oh,
Very
Who,
sad.
by the way, my mom used to party with at UCLA.
I'm not surprised. And
you
we
know,
used to sit
in
by
the-
him at the game.
in the good old early 70s, Bill Walton was the man at UCLA. I mean, gosh, what
Wow.
an icon.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's you can't touch that legacy, man. He's
He sat at the games with us at school.
Great guy.
that's funny.
Incredible.
Really
Yeah.
nice guy. Yeah, U of A. He used to sit like 4 seats away from us.
Luke Walton
That's
had a sweet ride. I don't know if you guguys ever saw it, but his ride was awesome.
No, what did he drive?
He drove a Cadillac, like a gold one. It was sick.
Really?
Yeah, it was great.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, speaking of all this basketball talk, what an appropriate way to enter the show this evening. Because I'm not sure about the rest of everybody here, but couldn't be more dulled by what we're about to talk about here in terms of what the finals are for the
I'm
NBA.
fine with it.
Okay, thank you. Bob can be excited. The NBA finals are approaching us. If you had a chance to join us when Jeremy and Gazelle were on this programs previously, well, Jeremy just needed to get off his chest about the Lakers, which is understandable. But Gazelle was here, and we were actually running through scenarios about the playoffs and who we thought was actually going to be in it. And the Cosmos decided to take a big galactic dump on all our heads because none of our predictions were right.
I did pick Boston to get to the finals.
I
picked Boston to get to the finals.
He picked Boston.
I said scenarios. I didn't say
Boston.
teams. I said scenarios, not teams.
No, he picked Boston to get to the finals.
So did I. So did you,
Yeah.
G.
Yeah, I picked
Did
Josh
I?
didn't. He picked New York.
I picked New
I
York.
thought I picked New York. I think I picked New York.
No, you wanted New York badly, but you thought it was going to be Boston.
Yeah,
Your
I
head
think I
said
said
Boston.
that. I said,
New
yeah.
York. New
Yeah,
York
that's
got
true.
two
That's
injuries.
true.
See,
Yeah.
we
So-
got something right.
Yeah, we got that right. We were like,
Yeah.
as
The
soon as
rest
there's
of it
an
was down the
injury,
We screwed
toilet.
up
yeah, as
Minnesota,
soon as
though.
there's an injury, it's just not going to work. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
and that's exactly what happened the next. I remember Gazelle texted me being like, did I not say it? One down, the whole thing falls apart. And she was absolutely right because that's what happened.
I don't think I was the only person saying that, but yeah.
Well, no, you reiterated it in text from me. Jeremy, I'm not sure if you had a bracket going for all this or
Listen, as a Laker fan, I am sick to my stomach that the Celtics got such an easy ride all the way to the finals.
Easy ride.
You talk about the easiest path of all time to the
That's
NBA
what I said.
finals.
Yeah.
The Celtics had it. And now,
Yeah.
obviously, as much as I would have loved the
With the
Wolves,
exception with the Lakers and the COVID bubble, yes,
well, hey. All right. That was actually to be fair, I think the toughest road, all right? I mean, under the circumstances and the environment. That
it
being said,
begins.
the Mavericks were obviously not my choice. Considering I'm not the biggest Kyrie and Luka guy. I'm hoping the Wolves would pull it out. However, now
I don't know who I hate more.
I put on my Luka jersey now because anybody that plays the Celtics, that's who I root for, okay? I mean, worst case scenario, Clippers versus Celtics, then you wouldn't even see me on here.
Yeah, that would make Jeremy implode.
I'd be somewhere on a hill right now. But right now, we're all in on the Mavs because we cannot have the Celtics get another title.
No Mavericks.
I mean,
does the Celtics winning put them one title up on the Lakers?
Correct.
Is that what it is? Yeah, that's why Lakers. That's why Lakers fans are so like rabidly
I'm very
upset.
You didn't have to encourage me to pull for the Celtics. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's why Lakers fans are so rabidly.
I'm actually finding myself rooting for
addition,
Kyrie right now. I mean,
Yeah.
who would have thought that would have happened?
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
I know.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, are the Celtics if they win at 17 or 18?
I believe
18.
I believe it's
Isn't
18.
it 18?
It's 18, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't, we said, I was like, the one team I don't want to be there, which I think will end up being there, is the Celtics. And then at least I was hoping that we would end up with a situation where it wouldn't be what I think is probably going to be a fairly easy finals win for them. Like, I don't
think so.
I disagree with that. I think that the Mavericks are going to push back. I do.
Remember what I said, Gazelle? I said I would not count Dallas out. And remember my reasoning for that.
Yeah.
Now, in all fairness, I did not pick them. I picked Minnesota to get there.
Yeah.
But I did say that I have a tough time counting Dallas out because the one thing about Dallas is both with Luka and Kyrie, they generate so much offense.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you double team or triple team them. They find a way to get their shots off. And now that they've got those two bigs down low with Gafford and Lively, and then you throw PJ Washington into the mix, who's now come alive.
Yeah,
this
he's
is a
on
team
fire.
that can actually do something. And one of the things that I said about Boston was that I felt that they were stacked at all these different positions, but Dallas, they're a gutsy team. And like I said, I would not count them out with Luka and Kyrie there, just because the two of them just find a way to generate offense no matter what they're facing.
I think that's true, but I think they've always traditionally had so much trouble. Well, and even in this last series, I mean, it wasn't like it was a complete blowout. I think they got very lucky, very, very lucky in the closing minutes of at least two of those games.
Yeah, those first two games, they got really lucky on that.
And especially, you know, some of the calls, like you could say it would have gone either way. I think Minnesota got really unlucky in those first two games, and then it was just sort of a downward trajectory. You're not going to come back from that going into Dallas for game 3 and game 4. That's going to be rough. They would have had to take both of them. And as soon as they lost that first one, that was it. Because what was it they said? No team has ever come back from being down 3-0 or 0-3. No, nobody's ever done it. Warriors have done it. The Warriors,
Warriors have done it.
They've done it when they were down 1-3. But they were never down 0-3.
Pretty sure?
No, the Cavs.
It might have been 3-1. It might have been 3-1. They had said it. No one has ever come back from losing.
Yeah, the first three games.
Yeah, the first 3 games.
The Cavs did it against
the Cavs did it 3-1.
But the Cavs, same thing. They were
3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this, guys. Let me tell you this. You know, let's first off start by let's give Mark Cuban his flowers. And what I mean by that is
right after he sold the team.
Right.
He was seller's remorse.
You know, people forget that he was criticized heavily last year by blatantly tanking the end of the season so that Dallas did not make the playoffs and therefore keep their first round pick. He sat his players and literally tanked. They got fined for it, if I'm not mistaken. And everybody was like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Well, guess who they got out of that first round pick? Lively.
Yeah.
And look at them now. Right. I mean, Nico Harrison, the general manager, you got to give him his props. The guy saw that Grant Williams was a terrible signing, traded him, flipped it for PJ Washington. They risked it all with Kyrie Irving when everyone said you're absolutely crazy.
Right.
And they built a team. They got Daniel Gafford. They are a sneaky, very strong defensive team now. All right. So you look at all that, and they really got on the rise. And you got to give them credit for that. I mean, Kyrie and Luka are playing at ultimate levels, peak levels. They are the ultimate closers, the best closers in this series. And let me tell you one thing that scares me about the Celtics, that I don't think, if you watch the Celtics and you watch their offense, it's very ISO related. What I mean by that is they go 5 out. They don't have anybody inside. They spread it out 5 wide and they go ISO. You'll see Jason Tatum put up some of the worst shots ever, some terrible things. You will see not a lot of passing in a half-court offense. You will see a lot of just, hey, I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to take it to the basket. Against a team like Dallas that is a formidable defense, I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah. I mean, I think that yes, that's true, but I aside from Kyrie, I think that the offense on Dallas has been a little, it has been inconsistent throughout the series, all the series that they've played, and I'm not going to say they've gotten lucky the entire time because it's obviously skill, but it's like, I don't know, it just seems like similar to Boston. The one thing I will say is both of these teams are like the team that almost could for so many years that, in that sense, it could be a toss-up of whoever finally gets their shit together for the finals will win, essentially, because I mean, I loved what Draymond said after Boston got into the Eastern Conference playoffs. He was like, nobody gives a shit about Boston getting to the Eastern Conference playoffs or even getting to the finals. At this point, this team with this lineup either needs to win or they need to just break it apart. Like there's no other, it was something like 6 times they've gone to the conference finals
this is it. Yeah. I mean, I feel like all the pressure's on Boston.
The pressure's on Boston.
They have to win it.
And Dallas sort of like glow up, fumbled up and got there. In some ways, they kind of got it together during the playoffs. Like, this is not the Mavericks team that was, I want to say it was like the last 5 to 7 to 10 games of the season where they like really started to look like this team as opposed to the team that had been playing all season. And they've just gone up. I mean, unlike other teams that fall apart in the playoffs, they like glowed up. And I think that they could take that glow up all the way to a ring, maybe.
Hey,
but
Josh,
like, could I think of a worse person other than, I mean, Kyrie or it's just asking. It's like between and I can't. Oh my God, my stupid earring, Derek. Do you remember that press conference with the earring and the feather, the single feather earring? Oh my God, and the thing that pisses me off even more is that I hate the guy, but I also know I agree. Andre Iguodala, at some point they interviewed him and they said, if you had, a clutch situation, who would you want to have the ball in the entire NBA? And he said Kyrie Irving over Steph. And I was like, I gotta say, like, I'm not going to disagree with him. The guy can make a clutch shot in the last,
he can.
Like, if all those games, game 1 and 2 that they won, I mean, he closed out those games with some amazing, I don't know. It was just, I think that, I can't decide who I hate more, and this is, if I feel like I grew up in LA, Jason, but I'm not or Jeremy, but I'm not a Laker fan. I would probably pick the Clips if I had to pick one of the LA teams.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Jeremy,
In the heart.
Not because, but that's like a very strong, like, if I had to kind of thing, like just to get a rise out of my relatives who are Lakers fans. But I can't think of any worse team than that I would have wanted to see in the finals again, other than the Boston Celtics. So at this point, I also feel like I have no choice but to be a Luka and Kyrie Irving fan. I mean, what else can you do?
real quick, Josh. What is it that I always tell you about who wins the championships?
Defense wins championships?
No. What is it? The other thing, is it the best team that wins?
No, it's the hottest team.
There you go. It's
And
all,
that's
that's what I always tell Josh.
They are
It's the
hot.
hottest team that wins.
Yeah, it's
That's
the
And
hottest
you're
team.
right.
Baseball.
They have been lucky in how they've won some of their games, but you know what? It don't matter. If they've got the momentum going their way, it's often it's the hottest team that wins, not the best team. And yeah, you got a 4-game series to do it, but they've got the talent to pull off 4 games.
Well, I have a
listen,
question. I have a question for Jared.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the better talent, Dallas or Boston right now?
That's what I was going to say. Listen, with Porzingis back, and we're assuming he's the wild card. There's no question that Dallas has the more star power. That's the better starting 5. Yeah. I mean, you got Drew Holiday, who's who doesn't love Drew Holiday? I mean, the guy's a stud, defensive machine. You got Derek White, Derek White would be easily the 3rd best option or 2nd best option on another team. You got Al Horford, who's been around forever, and then you got obviously the 2 J's, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. They have the better starting 5. However, say we go to the YMCA right now and we got a 2-on-2 game and we got 4 players, Tatum, Brown, Kyrie, Luka, and you got 2-on-2. Which 2 players are you taking?
I'm taking Luka and Kyrie.
I hate even thinking about saying Kyrie.
I think ultimately it comes down to Luka and Kyrie killers.
So gross.
And I think in clutch time, I trust them more than I do Jason Tatum.
I think this is going to be kind of fun because with Kyrie's history with Boston, I think this could make for a really fun series, especially those first 2 games in Boston.
I mean, they hate him over there. I mean,
exactly. They hate him over there, and now they get to hate him in the finals. Oh, this is going to be wonderful.
Yes, I mean, I think there's a lot of great. I mean, I think this is going to be. I think this goes 7. I really do. I really do. I think it goes 6 or 7. I think it's going to be a very closely contested. I mean, there are clips of going around of Kyrie when he returned to Boston and he kind of stomped his feet onto the logo. I mean, he's the ultimate villain in this series.
Oh, that's going to be so fun. They're going to have so many fun.
And he's going to accept that role easily. He's just going to he's going to eat it up.
He's probably going to be motivated by it. I think that the only thing is though is the Celtics haven't had a real challenge in my opinion on the way to the playoffs.
I hate saying this, but I think they're going to win because of that. They haven't. It's been an easy ride.
Hot there. Dallas is hot right now.
But I would take the opposite view. If you haven't had a real challenge and Dallas has kind of defied the expectations and odds in every single round that they've played, and they came out not just on top, but like a really it wasn't like 4-3, you know what I mean? It was they won definitive victories throughout every round, and Boston kind of coasted. Like, yes, you could argue that they're more rested and not as injured, whatever, but like they also haven't really seen a hard playoff game. So
okay.
But
maybe one or two with the Knicks, with the Knicks, but yeah.
Dallas will give them their biggest punch for sure. They will give them the biggest right hook that they can.
Yeah.
But
who's got that? Doesn't Boston have a better defense than Dallas, or no?
I would argue that Dallas might actually have the better defense, just simply because if you look at that last half of the season and the way they're playing right now, I would argue that they might have a better defense. But like Jeremy said, Porzingis coming back throws a whole new wrench into everything. And
but he's not going to be 100%.
How this is going to play out.
He's not going to be at 100%, and he's not going to be playing all the minutes he played in the very first 2 games, is he?
Yeah, I heard something on the radio. Listen, I mean, Boston is so different than Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota plays 2 dominant bigs, Gobert and Towns at all times. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Lively and Gafford are even as much of a factor this series as they were so valuable last series, because Boston plays much more spread out. They play spread offense. They shoot threes. They know what they want to do, 5 out, and they want to attack you that way. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Dallas counters that, if there's, someone off the bench, I don't know, a Josh Green or a Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, who knows? Jr. but
That
someone that can come off the bench and maybe give Dallas a spark. I don't think Dallas is very deep. I compared, I think Boston, bench wise, they got Peyton Pritchard, who, he comes in and produces. He plays. They have players. So Dallas, they're going to need to step it up. And yes, has Boston had the easier ride? Yes. They have not been challenged yet. We've talked about this. So it'll be interesting to see if they do get punched in the face.
I think Dallas has to strike fast, because based on what Jeremy is saying, depth on Dallas could be an issue. Right, Bob?
Yeah, it could be.
Isn't depth on both teams a little bit of an issue?
It
seems like they're kind of evenly matched. To me, they seem somewhat evenly matched on their bench. Boston has maybe like a slight leg up, but not like a big one. You know what I mean?
When it comes down to it, the starters on both teams are going to eat up, over 40 minutes, both teams. So it's not like you're going to see a lot of from the bench players anyway. You're going to see mostly guys that are in the starting lineup. With Dallas, you got what's his name, Hardy, Kleba, like you said, Green. They could maybe come in and spark them a little bit. And then you mentioned Peyton Pritchard on the other side. I really like the way he plays. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how this series plays out. I think it's more evenly matched than what people think. But you brought up a real good point there, Jeremy, because Boston does play very different than Minnesota. And you look at their defense, Boston's defense, their guards. I don't think that they can necessarily stop Kyrie Irving or Luka, but I think they're going to offer a much different obstacle than what Minnesota did.
Sure. You're talking about Derek White and Drew Holiday, two of the best defensive guards in the league. We love Mike Conley, but Mike Conley's getting up there in age, and Anthony Edwards is 22 years old. So it's definitely going to be a challenge for Luka and Kyrie. The bottom line is, I don't think anybody can stop Luka. I don't either. I think he's an automatic 30, 12 and 10 kind of guy. The guy just produces. He finds a way. He's like Jokic. The two of them are pretty much the dominant players in this league right now. I think Luka this is his chance to shine. This is his chance to build his legacy and to really take another step up. And I think he's going to do it. I think we're going to be talking about Luka Doncic after this as an absolute, not just Hall of Famer, but one of the all-timers.
Arguably, you could say the same for J&J though, because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, if they don't do this, if they don't pull this off in this series, no one will be considering them I think their legacies will be ruined if they don't pull this out in this series. And it's a make or break. They either live up to the pressure and finally perform. It seems like they've been on this precipice, and everybody feels like they can do it. They have every tool to do it. They should be doing it. And yet somehow I feel like they've choked. I'm not going to say that the Warriors, that 2022 win, it was the Warriors winning, but it was also the Celtics, those two losing. If they hadn't, the Warriors wouldn't have that championship if those two had been the same players they had been in the regular season. And I'm wondering if they're going to do the same thing. Luka, every time he's been put in the spotlight, has stepped up and surpassed. Those two have fallen on their asses. And I kind of wonder, is this it? Are they finally going to fulfill their destiny, or are they, it's all just been hype and they didn't really deserve it? I don't know. I don't know. From what the playing I've seen, it doesn't seem like they've been 100 really on fire or consistent. They've just been coasting, as if it was a regular season game. So I'm not seeing that playoff intensity from Jaylen and Jason Tatum that I think you should have at this point in the playoffs. I don't know. I'm sure that they're amping up for it, but it doesn't seem like they've showed it on the court so far.
If Jaylen Brown has a monster series, does he win MVP?
Well, first he has to learn how to dribble with his left hand. And have you watched this guy try to go to his left? I mean, it is embarrassing. All right. So if he can do that, yes, he'll win MVP, Josh.
He doesn't have a lot of time. You better get on that.
I know he needs to practice all day tomorrow. Are they still doing for the finals in terms of the home series 3-2 or what is it? It's 2-3-2?
2-3-2. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Got it.
Then they start off in Boston. Okay, Dallas doesn't win game 1. That's going to be problematic.
Well,
Dallas
has lost the last 2 game 1s, so
I don't see them winning game 1, Derek.
If you don't see Dallas winning game 1?
No, I think they might win game 2. I don't know. I don't see them winning game 1.
I don't see Dallas coming into Boston's home court with everything that's riding on this. Game 1, Boston's been rested for like an extra 3-4 days longer. I don't see that happening. If they take one, it'll be game 2, but I don't know. I kind of think we're going to go to Dallas with the series 2-0, and then it's kind of, we'll see. I actually don't think this game is going to go past 5 games, personally.
Real quick, Josh. You asked if it was 2-3-2. I just looked it up. Actually, it is it's 2-2-1-1.
1-1-1.
Yeah, they actually switched it. That's what I thought. I thought I remember them switching it a couple years ago.
We used to watch it, Bob.
When we watched it, it was 2-3-2.
Yeah, I was going to say every game in the playoffs so far has been 2-2, 1-1-1, and I was like, are they changing it for the finals? That seems odd.
Well, that had been the finals for a long time. The finals was different than
for a long time, but
they switched it a few years ago, and so I had to verify that because I couldn't remember.
Okay. Can we make more money?
Yeah. So are we taking a final poll of who we think is going to win?
Oh God, do we have to?
Oh God.
We'll start with you, Derek. Since you're so excited with it.
Boston, I'm thinking is going to win this. I hope. Jeremy, I'm sorry. I don't like saying any of this. Okay. If it makes you feel any better, hold on. I'll tell you this story. This might make you feel better. Gazelle knows this guy too. His name is it's a friend named John. John is from Boston, so he's a huge Celtics. I have to hear it every year with every sport from him. Red Sox, Pat, I hear it all. I even hear about the Bruins. I don't even watch hockey. So he is, I believe it was the last time the Lakers and the Celtics were in the playoffs together. So he's in a bar in San Francisco. He lives in San Francisco now, and he was very, very heavily enthused, and he was basically watching the Celtics lose this. I can't remember which game it was. I don't think it was the final one, but he was watching them lose. And this guy was apparently even a third more on me of a bodyguard, picks John up like he's an ocean animal, and proceeds to literally cartoon throw him out of the bar.
Wow.
And the bottom of the jacket, just threw him
like
right
DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince.
Yep. That was exactly correct. Yep.
You guys need that gif. You need that gif.
Yes. I'll see if I can find that one.
Yeah. He smacked his beer across the room, and then that was it. He said it didn't even last it couldn't have lasted more than 3 seconds. The guy just got him
out the door.
And threw him right out. So maybe that'll make you feel a little bit better about all of this. But I feel like Dallas stumbled into this. And I know they're hot right now. And it's hard to argue with everything that's being made for the case for them. But I actually think that Boston is somehow going to pull this off only because they have coasted and they've had more rest.
Now, Derek, real quick, just to clarify.
Yeah.
You said Boston is going to win this.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
I know you felt really good saying that, so I just
seriously, when I looked at this and I'm like, you're telling me that the NBA Finals this year is Dallas and Boston?
Yeah.
I'd soon go watch Paw Patrol with my 3-year-old in the other room. I have to watch this?
I've gotten really into the WNBA. That's all I'm saying.
Well, maybe at least there's other options out there. But,
go Indiana Fever.
Yeah, go Indiana Fever.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Jeremy's here. Let's go Sparks.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's my selection on this. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. I know. We have programming to do here, but it's oh man. Anyway, let's go around the room and see what everybody else's picks are on this. Bob, why don't you start us off?
All right. Well, I did pick Boston to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that was because I thought they were going to be playing Minnesota. And I got to go back to what I told Josh. Sometimes the best team doesn't always win. It's the hottest team that usually wins it. So I'm going to change my pick, and I'm going to pick the Dallas Mavericks to win this because I just I believe in Luka. I believe in Kyrie. I think they're going to find a way to get it done. I think Kyrie is going to embrace that heel persona when he's in Boston. I think he's going to thrive off of it, wanting to beat Boston on their floor. And Luka, he talks smack all the time. He's exactly what you want in an NBA player. You know, all this time we've been talking about Anthony Edwards being the future of the NBA, talking about Jokic and all these others. At the end of the day, Luka is the guy that he's gonna take his spot here. I'm picking the Mavericks, and I'm gonna take them in 6 games.
Okay.
At least one of us is enthusiastic. All right, Jeremy, your pick. What do you think?
I am also gonna go Mavs in 6. When I was 10 years old, I visited back east with my family. We went on one of those tram rides to visit the entire city of Boston. We passed by Boston Garden at 10 years old, a 10-year-old Jeremy Apodi, when the tourist guide said, "All right, look to your right. This is the Boston Garden." Boo! I booed in front of the entire bus, and I will never pick those guys. And so I am going Mavs in 6. They better save me here. I think Luka is absolutely going to star. Kyrie is going to close it out, and that's my pick.
Okay, so Bob, Mavs in 6, Jeremy, Mavs in 6. Gazelle, let's get excited. Come on. Yeah.
I'm exactly where you are, Derek. I texted Derek when the Mavericks won, and I was like, well, I guess Boston's winning this finals.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, it could be cool. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm really hoping I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. I would like it to be the Mavericks, but I just think that like the Celtics team, like if this isn't it, then like, when are they going to do it? You know what I mean? Like, I think just from like, statistically, it seems like if you've made it to the finals this many times, like you should win one. I don't know, but I don't like it, but it's possible. I think it'll be, personally, I begrudgingly say I think it's going to be Boston in probably 5. If it's good, it'll be 6. Okay. Oops, my light keeps going off. Sorry, but I'd like to be wrong. I would really like to be wrong.
I said Boston 6. You say Boston 5. Both of us. Well, I don't really care. You want to be wrong, so we'll play it that way.
I'd like to be wrong.
So we have 2 for Mavs, 2 for Boston. Josh, what say you?
So I remember being in college, Jericho. We were at our old apartment, Jefferson Commons, and I looked out the window, and here comes a man, Jeremy Apodi, with a broom in his hand when the Lakers swept the Timberwolves. Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Mavericks sweep the Celtics. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to say Mavericks in 7. They're going to shock the world.
You think it goes a full 7?
I think it's going to go 7, and I think the Mavericks are going to win it based on, like Bob and I have said, the hottest team. You know, Jeremy's a big baseball guy. Who tends to win the World Series? The hottest team, the guys who can pitch late in the season, right?
Correct.
This is what I think. I think the Mavericks have, I think, depth, and I think they have speed, and I think they win this in 7 games.
Okay.
They also have 2020 Laker assistant coach bubble champion Jason Kidd. So
Yeah.
There you go.
Go Bears on that one. Go Bears. Maybe that's why I should say the Mavericks because of Jason
Go
Kidd.
Cal.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
I swear every game that like I'm watching in the playoffs, I'm always reminded. It's like, oh, Jason Kidd's on the Mavericks. That's right.
you know you're old when the players we grew up with are all coaches.
Oh,
I know.
God,
It
isn't
makes
it crazy?
that's
Isn't it crazy?
oh God. No. See Luke Walton
Bob
on the
and I-
Warriors. That happened.
Bob and I used to watch NBA like all the time, and like now these guys are like have their kids playing. That's
Don't
it's
remind me.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know. We got so many juniors.
All right. Well, let's see. Do we want to talk any thoughts about the draft or anything like that before we wrap this one up? Like what happens afterwards?
And I think we should do another show about the draft.
Yeah, let's do another show about the draft.
We'll do another one. Sounds
I
good.
think we do one about the draft. I think we should go live with the draft and see who the Lakers get and see
Ooh,
what
that
Jared
would be funny.
does.
Hopefully
That
we
would be real
trade.
funny. That'd be real funny. Real funny.
I don't know where the Warriors are drafting this year, G. I don't know what number we are.
I mean, it's going to be towards the end because we at least made it into the play-in, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably
We'll see.
like 20, 21, maybe something like that. I don't know. We got work to do either way. Okay. Well, G, Jeremy, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us this
Thank
evening.
you guys.
It's been a
Always a
blast.
pleasure.
Yep. We'll come back with you when we get to the draft, and we'll take it from there.
Sounds good.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Thanks, gang.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much
Bye,
for joining us.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Oh, Jerry, you're still on.
There you go.
Oh,
Right?
ah.
He wants to stay on.
There
There
you
we go.
go.
He wants to talk about the Acolyte.
Yeah, guys. Before I go, I'm sorry. Is it okay if I just stay?
That would be funny. I just realized we could do a draft thing, and then I'm like thinking of Bob, what we have talked. We're booked up. I don't think
For
we
this
have time
month.
to do a draft.
For this month, yeah, I think we are.
Yeah, like I
think
was
we can
telling
do it.
Josh that I already started advertising on my other channel because I did a review of episode 1 of season 4 of The Chosen, and on that video, I started pointing some traffic over this way, saying that we would be doing one. I said it'd be coming in about a month, and so I figure we could do it the week after we do House of the Dragon.
By the way, everyone, make sure to hit that like button and comment. Give
That's
us your
right.
opinion on
You
the
know,
NBA finals.
Really, what are we even doing here if I don't mention that? For God's
It's
the
fun.
thumbs up, please. Make sure you hit that.
Little
There's another subscribe button right next to that.
yes.
We got a couple more this week,
yes.
That's right.
up to the fine number of 32. Make it happen. All right.
Yeah, we got some good shows coming up this month.
We
so.
do.
Yeah,
We do. We got a
do.
lot of good guests. A lot of good guests.
Yeah.
So good stuff. Let's talk about something that to Bob isn't really good stuff at all, though. Let's get to our next topic here, which is the Acolyte. If you've been living under a rock, allow me to inform you what's been happening recently on Disney Plus. Yes, another Star Wars show, folks. It's now available, or the first 2 episodes are. I'm not sure when episode 3 comes out, but according to Bob, why would you even care anyway?
Next Wednesday,
So,
right?
maybe.
No, Tuesday.
When is it?
I think it's next Tuesday.
Oh,
Is it next
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yes, you're right. Okay.
So, folks, this is another Star Wars show, but just to preface this, it actually takes place, I can't remember whether it's 300 or 400 years before the
No,
Empire.
it's
No,
100 years.
100 years.
100
years.
years. Okay. What difference does it
See,
make?
that's the point. It's so forgettable.
Yeah, so, all right, 100 years before the Empire takes over is when this takes place. And it's obviously a whole new set of characters associated for both the good guys and the bad guys. The Jedi are still around. They've been able to keep peace. But there's a new enemy on the rise. That's all I'll leave it at because I don't want to spoil anything. So that's where this show takes place and what is involved with it, just on the shortest wrap I can spin it on. So there's that. We luckily had a chance. I think we all watched 1 and 2. I watched 1 and 2. Did you watch 1 and 2 as well, Josh?
Yep.
Bob reviewed 1 and 2. Go to his site for that one. You'll have a ball.
Oh,
All right. To level set here, we've been talking a lot on this program, in case you haven't heard us ramble about this enough, about the quality of Star Wars just in general. Well, Disney just in general, but Star Wars certainly plays maybe even the biggest part in this. We have been hoping for this show to be as we were hoping for a good one here, and we all have thoughts as to whether that's going to happen or not, which is why we're here tonight. So, okay, Josh, why don't we start with you, because we'll save the dumpster fire for Bob. So why don't we begin with you?
Oh, Derico. This is going to be very interesting because, oh God, how do I?
That's one way of putting it.
Well, it's not that. I had no expectations for the show. Bobby knows this. As we just talked about, I wasn't going to watch it. Based on what Bob told me, what the director was saying, I was like, no, I'm not watching it. Bob's like, you have a YouTube show. You got to watch it. I'm watching it. Derek's watching it. I said, fine. Didn't really, saw the trailers. Like, okay, whatever. So I watched the first 2 episodes. And I didn't think it was that bad.
Shut up! That's the first one of the night.
Oh, no, I was trying to ignore it. It's like Bobby and I were talking about this, and I was like, maybe it was bad. Like, maybe I don't know what I'm seeing different. And a lot of people are mixed with it. And then Bob will tell me one thing, and then I'm like, yeah, I kind of get that. But then there was other stuff, and I think it mostly is because I had no expectations, kind of like when we saw Dark Phoenix, Derek, the new Dark Phoenix, and I was like, this is horrible. This is atrocious. And I tell Bobby, Bob, you have to see this. This is so bad. It's a dumpster fire. And Bobby watches it and says, it wasn't that bad.
Okay, hold on. I got to point out, I never said I liked it. I'm just saying it wasn't as bad.
Sorry, you said you loved it.
Yeah, and part of that was because my expectations were so low that all they had to do was put a sentence together. And
exactly.
All you had to do was say, my name's Charles Xavier. And I'd have been like, oh, whoa, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right. Same thing for me last night.
No, I didn't think it, it was bad. Don't get me wrong. But I just didn't think it was the absolute dumpster fire that everyone thought it was. And I admit that it was probably because my expectations were so low that I was not expecting anything from it. You know what's funny about that story? In order to watch Dark Phoenix, because Josh was like, you need to watch this. And I was like, no, I don't want to watch it based on everything you guys are saying. Why would I want to watch this? In order to get me to watch it, he had to watch Eternals.
Oh, God. That was
you guys really don't like each other.
That was the deal I made with him. I was like, you know what? If you're going to make me watch this, then you need to watch Eternals.
Oh, Derek, for 5 minutes of Eternals, I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, should I call Bob? Because this doesn't seem bad. And then we hit the 6-minute mark.
Oh, and that's when it all
7-minute mark, and the 8-minute. And I wanted to – it was torture. It was torture.
That sounds like this show. We hit the 6-minute mark, and then it just fell apart.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember when I watched that. I think I watched that some random I do remember it because Kate took the kids somewhere. So I'm by myself in the house, all excited. What are you gonna do? Oh, Eternals.
Oh.
Let's go check that out. And I wasted Dad's free time for close to 3 hours.
Oh God. This was better than Eternals.
Well,
yeah, I'll give you that.
That's not saying much, but that part's real.
What did you think, Derek? I need to really
okay.
I need to know if I'm insane, because actually the last week I feel insane right now.
No, I am kind of like you. Okay, well, my initial thoughts on this, Bob, you missed this text, but I remember the first thing I asked Josh just to make sure I understood. I'm like, this takes place a while before, the Empire takes over, right? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, then who cares? What? I don't understand the point of this. Why are we wasting our time? Because the Star Wars is about the Empire taking over and how the Jedis fight back. And of course, they do spinoffs of that.
Right.
So then I'm like, well, why do we even need to waste our time with something like this? So I thought the premise was a little worthless, but I am with Josh on this, where I was like you, Josh. I didn't have any expectations at all either.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, we're more than prepared for this to be shite and garbage and everything you can think of in between. But
Which
maybe, well, okay, I'm not there yet. I'm like Josh.
No,
I'm not
I think we might get there next. Like, for example,
we could very easily get there by episode 3.
Like Derek, Bob's like, oh, the acting was atrocious.
Oh, no, hold on. I'll get there.
Monotone and
Let
and
him do his.
I'll get there.
but I'm not getting, like, are we missing something that we're not, like, because I was like, the story itself didn't seem bad. Yes, I know where it could go.
Yeah.
But I wasn't bored on the first 2 episodes. I was like, okay, it's different story. We have not seen this before.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But I don't know. I like Bob will say this about me. I lately like the first 2 episodes of series, and then it goes downhill for me. So I don't know.
I will say, with the first 2, there were plenty of pitfalls or potentials for pitfalls.
Yeah.
Like, you can see this show going south real fast.
Yes, it could go fast. But Bob, you go ahead. Let's hear Mr. Dumpster Fire.
Okay, in order to do this, at this point, from here on out, there are spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, this is your opportunity to go watch this, which I don't know why you would want to, but if you want to go watch this, go whatever. If you want to go waste an hour of your time, whatever. But okay, so let's start from the very beginning.
Okay.
From the opening moments where it's got the story written in the front.
Okay.
Right at the beginning, saying that that it's at the height of the Republic, that the Jedi are in control, and that there's a mysterious figure going around killing Jedi. So that's the opening storyline. That's supposed to set up the scene that there's a mysterious figure going around killing Jedi. And the problem I have with that is, wasn't Carrie-Anne Moss's character the first one?
Yeah.
There weren't any Jedi killed before that. So they've already set up a scene saying, like, my expectation is that some others had already been killed and she's just now another one. But no, she's the first one. Right off the bat, they already contradicted themselves with the opening statement.
Okay, this show sucks.
One of the things that you're supposed to do with writing and with movies, one of the cardinal rules is show me, don't tell me.
Right.
So you could have just said a mysterious figure approaches or whatever, and that would have been enough. And then when she gets murdered, it would have been like, oh, okay, this is something pretty intense of what's going on. So they could have showed us that they were getting murdered. Now let's get to the murder itself.
Murder?
So in Star Wars, since Lucasfilm has taken over, people can get chopped in half by lightsabers, impaled. You can have your insides melted by the lightsaber. It doesn't matter. It's like that guy in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's just a flesh wound. So that's what it's like. And yet, a little dagger that's this big is supposed to turn around then and kill Carrie-Anne Moss's character.
Could have had poison in it.
And you're going to tell me, as you watch that scene, Carrie-Anne Moss her character is so much more powerful than the other one. I mean, this wasn't even a match. She could have ended the fight at any moment that she wanted to. And then when I don't know how the writers got this in their head that somehow throwing the dagger at the bartender, she gets so distracted that all of a sudden the lady turns around and is able to hit her with the dagger and kill her. And again, I don't find that very believable. I'm like, wouldn't Carrie-Anne Moss's character have just like held her with the force and stopped the dagger at the same time? I can't buy that, especially as skilled as a Jedi as she appeared to be. She seemed to be very I mean, she appeared to be a master. Didn't they say she was a master?
They did say she was a master.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a Jedi master, going up against a young pup who doesn't even have a lightsaber or anything, and she gets killed with that little dagger. No, I don't buy it.
Maybe she was shocked by all this.
Then when you get to the ship and you meet the sister, and you find out that she's being accused of murder. I'm like, that would be pretty easy to prove that she was on the ship the entire time. I mean, that's not exactly a tough chore. And what do? They bring out the bartender. They brought him all the way from the planet in order to turn around and ID her. I mean, really? They couldn't just do it by the little hologram and say, hey, put him on the hologram and say, this lady over here that you can see, is that her? And then the hologram, yeah, that's her. I just don't see that you would bring.
You see the hatred, Derek? You see this hatred? Like every nitpicky thing.
No sense. So, okay, well, those are just some of those are just issues from just the first few minutes of the episode. Now let's get into the characters. The characters are completely forgettable. All right, Josh, what's the name of your favorite Jedi in that?
I have no idea.
The one you keep telling me that you like.
I can't remember.
Okay, that's my point. You see, they are so forgettable, these characters.
Well, it could have been a hard word.
One character I remembered, and that was because they just say her name over and over again. I had to look up the names of the other characters.
What's his
name?
Really,
they're going to name one of them Osha, and she happens to be a mechanic working in like a hazardous area, and her name is Osha.
Jericho, he hates
I mean, come on. So the characters are completely forgettable. I think the acting, oh my gosh, it is bland. I mean,
what?
Again, don't get me wrong. The prequels had some bad acting, but at the end of the day, they still felt like Star Wars. This didn't feel like Star Wars, and I'm not faulting them. No, it didn't, and I'm not faulting them for trying something new because Andor was something new, and I like the way that it worked. But this was just bad.
Andor was not new because we had Rogue One, which was fantastic, and the same director.
No, but it was a new style of show. And this was doing something new, setting it, 100 years before. And I like the idea of doing like a murder mystery. The concept was fine. It was the execution of it. And good God, it was just badly written. Oh, and then some of the characters. You have a Jedi in the second episode. They turns around and commits suicide. I mean, come on. Really? And she turns around and puts the little poison in front of him. And she's like, now you can either tell the truth to the Jedi or you can get the freedom that I've got for you here. And this guy who's had 10 years of silence and he's floating around apparently for 10 years. I don't know why he's floating. How the hell does the Jedi float anyway? But, he's floating around and he's just thank you. Yeah,
Luke made rocks float.
What?
Luke made the Force. Luke made rocks float in Empire.
Yes, he made rocks float. But when did you last see him floating? And I'm not talking about Rian Johnson stuff.
He doesn't really float. He can jump.
I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say.
So anyway, she puts the poison right in front of him. And he turns around and he happily drinks it. He's like, oh, thank you. He turns around and drinks the dang poison. I'm like, no wonder he's happy to drink it. He could get out of this show.
This is great.
I'm like,
Derek,
really?
Was the show bland?
The Jedi commits suicide.
Was the acting bland? I didn't see the acting was bland.
Well, okay. I have a thing. I've said this about Star Wars acting. I think I mentioned this on a previous show.
Yeah.
It's always so like over the top, like melancholy, dramatic.
Yeah, but Star Wars though.
It doesn't have to be like that. When did you ever see Han Solo act depressed?
Yeah, you go back to the original trilogy. Now, don't get me wrong. Episode 4 had a few problems with some acting, but again, we've all talked about it that George Lucas was not a very actor-friendly director when it comes to getting performances out of his actors. But he didn't direct The Empire Strikes Back, and he didn't direct Return of the Jedi. Those had different directors, and you got different performances out of the actors for that reason. And Rogue One had some good performances. This
next week's going to be
God.
bad. I think next week's going to be bad.
Oh man.
I don't know why. I think we're going to be talking about this next week.
The only character that I liked in this was the guy from Squid Game. The
teacher. Yes.
Yeah, the teacher.
I liked him, but I guarantee you he's probably thinking he wish he died in Squid Game so he doesn't have to be in this.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. Depending on how big that check was, maybe he didn't have to worry about that.
Well, and that brings me to my next point. This was supposedly $180 million show. Really? The costumes look bad. The makeup looked bad. The droid designs look bad. Some of the creatures look ridiculous. I'm like, this got $180 million on this.
Derek, did you see the lady with the green face? Did you look at her and be honest? And
she can't act.
Yeah, she can't act, and her face looks a mess. Did you think? Because I didn't think that.
Well, I want to. It's funny with her because I don't know. You definitely just like. Well, she looks more human than alien, so there was that.
Yeah, well, it just didn't affect me as much as Bobby.
Well, okay. Bob just seems like he may have had it out for this show, and that's okay.
No, in all fairness, and Josh will tell you, I will always judge something on its own merit. I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was going to be a dumpster fire. Yeah, I really did. But there have been other shows that I thought that were going to be a dumpster fire, and after watching them, I told Josh, you know what? That was really good. House of the Dragon is one of those because Game of Thrones ended so badly. And there were so many things that the actors and cast and crew said about the show and saying, well, this is going to be looking at modern politics, and this is going to be doing that. And as they were saying that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be horrible because they're going to get away from what the story is really all about. And then I watched it, and it had nothing to do with the stuff that they said. So they were just spewing off talking points. So that's why I don't want to judge something based on something somebody said or based on the television shows that came before. Now it will, even though I'm not going to judge it based on those shows, I do have to take the track record into account as to what my early prediction about what the show is going to be.
Prediction?
Because the track record for Lucasfilm has been bad, at least lately. And
historical context.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
I remember at the end of episode 2, and being like, "Oh, look, Chewie." That's nice.
Oh, and Bobby hated the way he looked. I'm like, it's a Wookiee. What's wrong with him?
He didn't look that good. And then what about the scene where we got to see Josh's favorite Jedi with his shirt off?
Okay, that was ridiculous. He did not have to have his shirt off.
I'm like, they do it in one movie, and all of a sudden now everybody's got to be shirtless in Star Wars.
All right, I'm going to make a prediction.
Never a thing in Star Wars.
I'm going to make a prediction about the guy. I think he's the villain.
No, he's not, Josh.
I think he is the villain.
I told you, he's in a scene in the trailer where all the Jedi are fighting against the villain.
Well, who knows?
Maybe he is going to be the villain. Maybe. I'm going to let me just spitball and say, okay, maybe he is the villain. But I'll tell you this. If he's not, he's freaking incompetent. I mean, he's got Padawans turning around and talking him down, telling him how things are going to be because he's too dumb to figure it out. Which I guess makes sense because, I mean, the actor turned around and said that Anakin turned around and blew up the Death Star on multiple.
Which actor said that, by the way?
Him.
That was him?
It was him.
So weird.
So
all I can say is after watching this show and you watch a Jedi turn around and get killed with a little dagger this big, you see one turn around and commit suicide, one who's an idiot, and others that just, oh my goodness, I can't believe they casted these people to be Jedi. I'm thinking to myself, no wonder the Jedi Order fell apart. No wonder the Sith came and took over.
Jesus.
That only invites the Sith to come and take over.
I just hope nobody all like you said, there's a fight at the end or something with the Jedi again. All those Jedi need to die, because if they come back and say, guess what? We just got attacked by a Sith, that will destroy everything with Star Wars.
Well, that's assuming they don't destroy everything before, because there's a lot of rumor going around that episode 3.
Tell us the rumors. Tell us rumors, Bob. Come on.
Okay, the rumors going
Let's hear
around.
all the rumors.
No. These are just rumors, and supposedly these are from people that have seen it, because
it's not a rumor.
Because the show, they released the first 4 episodes to people.
Welcome, Derek.
To actually review it. Like, there's actually reviews out of all 4 episodes.
Okay, so now this is
like
back.
Like one of my favorite YouTubers that I follow, he gave a review of episodes 1 through 4, spoiler free, but he gave a review of episodes 1 through 4.
How do you
and what he said was that they had released that to several reviewers and stuff like that, so they could watch it, so they could do their reviews, because they're the ones who turn around and end up like on all the critics lists, like for Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that. So because they're certified critics, they actually got to see all 4 episodes. So there are some people that have come out and have seen all 4 and said that episode 3 changes a lot of Star Wars lore. And so
what does it do?
Well, one of the things is that they say that the Force becomes a female entity.
Okay, that's enough.
Okay, I'm just telling you what I've heard.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just saying what I've heard. There's that going around. There is there's the possibility that the twin characters were conceived through the Force.
No,
I'm just telling you again.
Anakin was.
I'm just telling you what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not.
Oh, I'm done.
I'm just telling you what I've heard.
If that happens, I'm done.
I will say this: if that does happen, where the twins characters, or even if they establish anybody else did it, then that cheapens Anakin Skywalker, because that was the whole point. It was supposed to be that was something that set him apart from everybody else. That's why they thought he was the chosen one.
The Force is a female entity?
That's what they're saying, and from what I'm understanding, this goes to that idea. I don't know. It's an idea that came out in the cartoons, or it might have even been in some of the old books. But this idea that the Force was the father, the son, and the daughter, or something like that. But that somehow they split apart or something like that. I don't know all the details, because again, it's only small bits of information that people have been giving out. But that's the rumor going around, that the Force is like a female entity, and
the darkness is a male entity.
Yeah, but you see, again, that would take away from Star Wars, because remember what Obi-Wan said. It was that it's an energy field. It's not an entity of any kind.
No, it's not supposed to be.
Wow,
that was what made the Force the Force.
Very angry next week.
So I don't know. And look, in my review, I said I don't even know if I was going to watch the next episodes, but several people commented in my comment section saying, hey, there's this controversy surrounding episode 3. You might want to check it out. And so I will watch episode 3 and see what happens.
Oh, I thought you were making us watch all of this. I thought that's what we were being forced to.
Yeah, right, Bob? You told us we had to watch all of this.
No, next week is going to be a different show, so you don't have to. I mean, I would look, unless you guys want to do a full review at the end of the show.
No, you're not backing out of this. You brought us into this. I was done with this. You brought us in. You're seeing this with us.
All right, then I'll watch it with you. You know I have no problems with it. I'll turn around and do reviews of it.
Good.
I picked up 9 subscribers and over 600 views, and that was before we started this show.
It's a good thing the Chosen is coming up, because we may need Jesus out of all this.
Oh my God. Is that Sunkist? Yeah. Oh.
Yes, it is.
In a time of darkness, Derek brings light with Sunkist.
This is the Force. That's what's
There we
up.
go.
Oh my God.
Put a lightsaber out of this. Yes, sir.
It's so good. Now I want to try the Zero Sugar Mountain Dew that Bob had.
I know I haven't had any of that yet.
Yeah,
I'd like
there's
that
some
and
good
the
ones out
Dr.
there.
Pepper.
Yeah, I got to give that a go. They have a few different flavors of it in Safeway, so I got to make my way over there.
But yeah, I mean, we can finish this thing and do a full review of it at the end of this thing.
Oh, can we? Thank you.
Hey, you just volunteered me, so
I'm
I'll do
fine
it.
with it. Oh yes, I want.
I've got no issues with it.
I want to see. I think next week it's done. I think we're going to
Well,
be like.
I'm just telling you, that's just based on rumors. I don't like to put a whole lot of faith into rumors. I like to watch it for myself, see what if it's true or not.
Yeah, it's probably a better way to do things.
But I will say this: off the first 2 episodes, I didn't like it. I thought this was more garbage from Lucasfilm. I really did. Now maybe it'll get better, but I doubt it.
Play the thing with Joe.
Crap, mega crap.
Yeah, no, I like the laughter one too.
Yeah, I really do think that it's. I don't think it's going to get better, and like Josh said, historically or recently anyway, Josh he'll like the first few episodes of a show, and then he'll fight himself. I can see that he doesn't like it, and I can hear it in his voice, and he'll fight himself saying how much he likes it all the way to the finale, and then he'll turn around and be like, "That was horrible. This was a horrible show."
Yeah.
You did that with TNA wrestling for a year, Josh, until you finally broke down and told me it sucked.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm glad you did.
Right.
Yes, I remember.
Right, I did do that. Yeah,
you were like, "All right, fine."
TNA was so good at the gut check.
Yeah, back then, yeah, there was a. Well, I don't. Okay, we have to watch episode 3 at least just to see. I gotta see if what Bob is saying here is true. Number one.
Yeah, based on what people were telling me, saying, "Hey, there's a controversy surrounding this. You might want to check it out." I'm willing to go ahead and watch it and see what this controversy is, and find out if people were just blowing smoke or if it turns out that this was an actual that they're changing Star Wars lore. And if they're changing Star Wars lore, then now we're talking something completely different.
Something completely different. Oh man!
Well,
I hope they don't go that route. I really, really.
Me either. I think it will implode.
Well, it sounds like it's already on a really good track there. To your point, Josh, maybe this will be the final nail in the. Maybe this is it. Folks, page 1 rewrite.
And like Bobby laughs, he's like, "Josh, you get so excited still for Star Wars."
He does.
I don't know how you do it, but you still do it.
He still gets excited every time there's a new Star Wars show coming out. And then like this one, he held back, and then he watches it and he calls me, and I can hear it in his voice that there was something wrong, because he and I tend to have the same views on stuff. And so the moment he turns around, he's like, "All right, what'd you think?"
Yeah.
He had this hopeful voice to him, hoping that I would turn around and say, "You know what? It wasn't that bad." And the first thing out of my mouth was, "I thought this was trash."
Now, hold on. Let's back up a little bit. So, as you know, Derek, Bobby and I have this friendship that I will call him if he's seen a movie, and I'll be like, "Hey, Bob, how's the movie?" "Oh, it was horse manure. It was horrible." "No, it was okay. It was good. I liked it." But when The Last Jedi came out, Bob calls me and I said, "All right, what'd you think?" And he goes, "I don't know." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't know?" "I don't know. Everything you wanted to happen did not happen." So from that day on, and after I had seen it, I said, "Bob, I can't have you joke about Star Wars." And last night he sends me, I'm eating dinner and I hadn't watched it yet. And
You did not know who your friend really was, Josh.
No, well, he sends me an emoji last night of a person throwing up. And I'm like, okay, I think it's 90% true that he doesn't like it. But again, I don't know, because he said he wouldn't joke around, but maybe he will. And then when I called him and he's like, I'm like, "What'd you think?" And he's like, "It was horrible." And I'm like,
I said, "This is trash." That's what I said.
"You're joking, right?" He's like, "No, I did not like it." And I'm like, "Bob, I did not think it was that bad." And we've gone over and over, Derek, over and over about like, but give it to Bob. Bob could have said, you know what, Josh, what is wrong with you? Or he's like, no, he's like, I can see where maybe you might like some stuff. But the other thing is we're thinking is that I had no expectations on this, that I knew I would hate it, that out came this. And I'm like, okay, it was okay. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. That's the true story. Bobby hated it. I thought it was okay. Again, I always say it's better than Last Jedi. It didn't insult Star Wars, but of course now we have next week.
Yeah, but doesn't it tell us something like it could have been worse, and then you already have another one that's right below that.
Yep, all of these guys now are saying, "Oh, well, this is what's going to happen next week. It's going to be very decisive among fans, and if they change the Star Wars lore, I'm going to go crazy."
I mean, I'm just curious to see because, like I said, the fact that they did release the first 4 episodes, and I've seen some reviews where people reviewed the first 4 episodes, and I'm talking even in like news articles from like major outlets. Now they didn't get like too deep into it because only the first 2 episodes released, but yeah, there are people that have seen the first 4 episodes. So I'm curious to see if it's really what people are saying. And if that is, I mean, I don't know. I don't think the fan base will react very positively to that. Let's put it that way.
No,
I love how it's spoiler free. What's spoiler free that you watch? We can't say anything. A ship flew through the air.
No, you can set it up just like it's meant to be like it's a murder mystery where a bunch of Jedis, start to get killed off.
But that's in the trailer, so that's spoiler free.
It is. Yeah, that is spoiler free technically.
I like it's interesting. I'm curious as long as those Jedi are killed by Sith and we don't know about it, I don't know. There's so much Star Wars lore that
that's really why we love you, Josh, because of your childlike innocence.
I know. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if Darth Plagueis was the one who trained the Emperor.
Yes.
And the Emperor killed him. And this was all during this time, right? It had to have been. Well, I don't know if the Emperor was.
It depends because I don't know how old Palpatine was supposed to be.
Yes,
I don't think he was 100 years old.
No, he probably was 100 years. I guess he wasn't born yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think unless maybe we'd see Plagueis, but
I think we would see. Yeah, I think we could see Plagueis. But this villain they introduced last night, there's no way he's Plagueis.
Nah,
doesn't fit the look at all.
Nah.
They're going to play some sad-ass Sarah McLachlan music and have a bunch of Jedi cry.
She was just here on Saturday night, by the way. A ton of people went. A ton.
Hey, still hot ticket, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
Playing Angel. So. That's how Star Wars does it.
Well, we want to know what you guys think of the Acolyte. Are you guys on Team Josh and Derek? Or are you on Team Bobby?
I don't even know what team I'm on yet, honestly.
Yeah, Derek hasn't made a decision. He's just okay, it wasn't so bad, but I get where you're going, Derek. That it's hard to make a decision about the show when you've only seen 2 episodes.
Right.
Yeah, I am sure, Bob, we're going to all reconvene on this and have some very strong thoughts. What they say about episode number 3 is true. But until then, all right, I'll wait and see what happens.
Next week's going to be interesting.
You're really excited, aren't you? Don't lie to me.
Oh, now I'm thinking it's going to be the worst thing ever. Again.
That means he's going to like it because he's got no expectations now.
It's Bobby's
He's going to love this.
It wasn't bad.
It was Derek with the lines tonight.
He called you and he was like, Bobby didn't like it. It wasn't bad.
Well, no, the best part was he texted me last night fairly late. And he goes, "Did you watch Acolyte yet?" And I'm like, "Nope, tomorrow." And he goes, "I watched it, and so did Bob." And I'm like, "So what'd you think?" And he goes, he's like, didn't think it was so bad. Bob hated it.
You don't even know what else we said, though, Derek.
Oh no, that's the other stuff.
I said I shouldn't have told you because knowing you, you would have like said, "Oh, I'm going to spite Josh and say I hated it."
No, I didn't even say that.
When he told me that, I was like, "Yeah, I can see Derek doing that."
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't say that though. I was just,
No,
I was just like, I'm not really sure what's supposed to be going on here. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But
yeah,
I did think, the point of the show is it's pointless. There's no empire. What are we doing here? Oh darn!
Well, I agree with you. I'm very big on a show that's about the empire from the time they took over until A New Hope. I want to see that, and we've never gotten that.
I don't know. Maybe after this, you might not want to. Maybe you should just let it blow itself up.
I'll say this: I don't want these people writing it. So,
yeah, who did write this? Does anybody know?
Well, I think,
yeah,
I'm wanting to say that the director had a big part in the creative process because she was the showrunner for it, Leslie Headland. So
I know a kindergarten class in San Francisco wrote it.
Could be
kindergarten class in San Francisco. They probably did. It's probably down the street from me.
Oh my God! They just, I don't know. I'm in, even Bobby knows this. When we first heard about this, I was like, okay, that could be interesting. But then he told me everything about what the director said, and I'm like, I am not interested in this. I don't want to see it now.
Actually, what did it for you was where it seemed like she was insulting George Lucas.
She did insult. Well, I don't know. I thought she was, but now she came out and she was like, "Oh no, I was a diehard Star Wars fan, and I appreciate."
Oh yeah, it shows.
Yeah,
that may have been just saving her arse.
Well, George Lucas was interviewed, and they asked him about the sequel trilogy, and he was like, "Yeah, I was just getting old. I didn't want to do it." I'm like, "Great." So you sold it to Disney, and now look where we are.
See the pain in his eyes.
Yeah,
all $4 billion of it.
Well, no. You can see the dollar signs in the pupils, but the rest of the eyes, you can see the pain.
Yeah, he was wiping his tears away with his $100 bill handkerchief.
Of all the people he could have had Rick McCallum do it, Bob, the producer from Revenge of the Sith and all the prequels. He could have had so many people do this movie for him.
Yeah.
And then we would have been done. Then they could have done whatever they wanted. They could have turned Yoda into a woman. We would have been fine. We would have been like, okay, we got what we want.
Is Yoda gender fluid?
Oh, God, don't even say that. Oh, God. Oh, God.
I leave you with that.
Pronouns.
Oh, God. Oh. I shouldn't have said anything. All right. I think it's enough of a.
I'm going to be canceled for that. I'm going to be canceled.
You probably are.
Canceled.
I'm going to be canceled off YouTube for that.
No, not YouTube. If you're on Instagram, yeah, you'd be canceled, but not YouTube.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're fine here. All right.
No,
we'll see what happens. What happens.
I'm actually just to kind of switch topics. Like you said, we got some good shows coming up here.
We do.
I think that we're gonna have some fun. Hope don't want to say anything about next week yet, but
little surprise.
Hopefully we have a surprise. And then the week after we'll be talking House of the Dragon. We'll have another guest on for that. And then the week after is, I think, the week, like I said, that we could probably do The Chosen and have you two give your perspective on it. And I'll be advertising that over on my other channel. So
what's your prediction?
Yeah, go ahead.
Pain.
Good. Prediction? Yes, prediction. Pain.
I'm telling you, talk to me, Balboa.
Derek I still love Derek's sun kissing. The Force is right here.
Yeah. See? Wouldn't you want an orange lightsaber? I think you would.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Bob definitely.
I'm surprised he had a lightsaber last week.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
as Rob mentioned, we got a lot of good stuff coming up. So please do pay attention because we're gonna have some fun shows. We'll keep next week a surprise.
Yeah.
Please, but we hope you like us. So go ahead and show that. Go ahead and show that. Subscribe, a comment or two, whatever you're feeling like to brighten your day. Let us help you out. All right, what do you guys say we wrap it up with some social media? Josh, why don't you go first?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn. I'm the family man of the Valley. I'm a realtor here in Southern California. And come follow me, please.
Very good. Bobo.
You can find me on YouTube over on my channel, Was It Good? At Bob Loves Movies. For our social media, I always do put the links in the description, so go ahead and check it out.
And, of course, you can catch me watching episode 3 of The Acolyte, aging myself early in order to get to the retirement home, where I'll be on LinkedIn and, Facebook, all that good stuff.
I thought you were going to say you can find me at the cave that Obi-Wan was in, getting old.
No, believe me, this next episode sounds like it's going to age me plenty, so I'll just roll with that.
And I hope I'm wrong. I do. I hope I'm wrong because
we'll see.
I want to like Star Wars.
No, you don't. You want it to just collapse. So I
want to like Star Wars. Now, if it's not going to get better, then fine. Let them keep trashing it.
Josh, if this is what we're thinking it is, you're going to eat every single word.
Just like we said, I'm expecting now to be horrible.
We'll see. We'll see if the rumors are true or not. Let's put it that way. I'm going to go in with an open mind.
Yeah, deep breaths.
They watched it. What are they going to do? Why?
You're going to go in with an open mind.
So, but because remember, some people that are putting the videos out are saying, hey, this is being reported on these other sites. So sometimes they're just talking about what somebody else is reporting. So the original people who reported it may have just been trying to get clicks. So
got it.
You're going to go in with an open mind and some heart medication.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything. Well then, boys,
gentlemen,
let's see what we get next week. Josh looks like he's going to have a blast.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
All right, guys.
May the force be with you.
Don't do that.
You guys have a good night.
Okay, you guys too.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's try.